Fox News's Peter Doocy and Press Secretary Jen Psaki continue to get into their back and forth about these gas prices.
Why did you guys decide to rebrand the rise in gas prices as the hashtag Putin price hike?
I mean, if you want to use that on Fox, I welcome that. But
I think it'll get a lot of airtime because we have heard the president warn for months the gas prices were rising because of the supply chain and because of post-pandemic demand. If you guys knew for months that this was going to be the hashtag Putin price hike, why are we just hearing that now?
Well, Peter, if we go back to 6 months ago, I don't think anybody was predicting we would be exactly where we are as it relates to Russia and Ukraine. As you know, that events in the world, including the invasion by Russia of a foreign country, does prompt instability and volatility in the global oil market.
These elementary facts have to be told to Peter Doocy, but he's not deterred. Instead, after being given that answer, he then goes back to the Keystone Pipeline, which she answered a couple of days ago. Watch him ask again.
Because there's a lot of gray area here. Is a restart of the Keystone XL construction completely off the table as long as Joe Biden is president?
Well, why don't you tell me what that would help address?
I'm asking you if it is an option. You guys say all options are on the table. Is restarting Keystone construction one of them?
If we're trying to bring about more supply, that does not address any problem.
It's supply from Canada, a friendly ally, instead of Saudi Arabia.
We're already getting that oil, Peter. It's the pipeline is just a delivery mechanism. It is not an oil field, so it does not provide more supply into the system. It does not address.
Is it possible that Joe Biden will ever say, you guys can go ahead with construction of Keystone XL?
There's no plans for that, and it would not address any of the problems we're having currently. Go ahead.
Asked and answered again and again and again. So Peter, a pipeline is not a source. It is the mechanism in which they transfer what they've pumped. One more time, it's a pipeline. And by the way, if you start construction on it again right now, will it be done in time to do anything about these gas prices? Which, by the way, if it was done in 30 seconds, it still wouldn't, because it's already being delivered. So that question just, it needs to be asked for the sake of asking it. And Brett, I'm not sure exactly what to call Brett. You guys know Brett Ehrlich. He says before that Tucker Carlson asks questions just for the sake of asking those questions and not really giving any answers. That's the whole point. You ask the questions and not have any answers. So, well, I'm just asking the questions. But what you're doing with those questions is you're making a statement. So that's why I love that Jen Psaki then asked him, so what is it that this would do? What would it do if we opened up, if that pipeline was completed? Then he moved on to the next question, because that answer would make a little bit less sense to him and his viewers. Speaking of their viewers, these types of lines of questions then blend their way into regular broadcasting on Fox News. So the straight news person, Sandra Smith, she had former Obama economic advisor Robert Wolf on, and she was talking about gas prices, and he had a very straightforward point about the Keystone Pipeline that then she called debatable, something that's absolutely not debatable. Watch.
Perhaps, as Peter just reported, perhaps opening up the Keystone Pipeline is not off the table for this White House. What did you take away from that?
I think XL is off the table. Let's recall a few things. One, it's the worst type of oil you can have. It's tar sands going from Alberta to the Gulf of Mexico. It wasn't going to really change anything to do with our oil supply. It was to export from the Gulf of Mexico. Also recall that under President Trump, well, let me just fit. Okay, it's not actually debatable. It has nothing to do with oil fields. It's a pipeline, and it was going to end at the Gulf of Mexico. That's a fact. You should look it up. And with respect to President Trump, as Stephen will tell you, only 10% of it was even done under his 4 years. So it's not about XL. It's about how do we become energy independent. I've always been supportive of the all-in energy approach for actually 10 years now.
Sometimes misinformation is just saying things, just interjecting, just asking questions like Peter Doocy was doing, like Tucker Carlson likes to do. I'm just asking the questions for you guys to then think of what you would assume the answer would be based off of your partisan leanings. That's really all it is. So again, I would have loved for him to ask Sandra, so let's debate it then. Where's the debate? Can we debate? If it's debatable, let's have it. There's no debate. That's why she sat there and smirked and went, I didn't think you'd call me out. I don't know. I mean, people continue to watch this stuff. They continue to be lied to, and they continue to think that gas prices are what it is. And for the reasons behind it are these types of factors.